Hi, everybody. Coach Kevin here. Thank you for tuning in here in the position-specific soccer coaching 101. This is actually a recording for one of my students here. He is a right center back, number 4, and he plays in the Spanish highest elite youth uh, environment with Villarreal. So I'm gonna try and teach him a little bit about how to defend as a right center back and what the player actions are that us coaches, me myself, I'm also an A licensed coach as well, that we're actually looking for. So here goes. Right off the bat, so obviously we're the red team playing up. He will be number 4, and the opponent has the ball. So he mentioned that he had the most issues playing um, defending in his own defending third. So that's basically the issue that he is experiencing at this point. So I'm just gonna go straight into that one. Right off the bat, right here, first things first, you want to have a structure going for your team, right? So right now, is there a structure? Not really. There's a back 4, there's a 6 and an 8. So he mentioned that typically his team defends in a 4-4-2 formation. So obviously we're looking for some leaders in the back here. So if he's a leader in the back, he would also need to call players back, which gives us a little bit more structure here. Obviously, it's all ball oriented. So in this case, the left back has the ball. So we really want to make sure that there's some connections here between the center backs and the two center mids. So that's first things first. You want to make your team structured and organized, not only with his players right next to him, but also the players in the same line. So I'm looking at him to actually coach the players next to him and coaching the players in front of him. So they're coaching the players in the same line, which is these back 4, obviously, and then the players in front of him, which is the two sixes or the 6 and 8. So you want to make your team compact. What does that mean? You want to make sure that the distance between the players is very small or very minimal because we're obviously trying to deny forward passes, right? So look at this structure right here, obviously a little bit different compared to what it was in the beginning. So you want to minimize the distance between the players, and not only the distance between the players, but also the distance between the lines. The lines means you have a back line and then you have your midfield line. So the distance between those two lines also need to be very compact and very minimal. So first things first, we're looking at organizing the back line and the midfielders and the structure and some leadership in the back. So you want to make your team compact, make it compact, keep it compact, and that's when you can actually start moving as a unit, try to predict the play, try to set the traps, and try to challenge the ball with a pressure, cover, balance kind of principle in 1v1 defending. So the initial idea here is that you try to create a defensive block, which is right here, to reduce the passing options for the opponent. So I think that's the main issue right here, to position your line and your team in such a way that um, you're basically creating a line of confrontation and you're basically telling them, look, this is our defending third. You're not going to get any closer than this. So I mentioned the structure, but now I also mentioned the distance between the players. So quick tip here, right off the bat, if you're center back, try to walk off the length of the 18-yard box. The 18-yard box is typically between 40 and 45 meters or yards. And if you have 4 defenders, that means that the distance between defenders cannot be more than 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 yards distance. So if there's anything more meters or more yards in between your defenders here, that means that I'm looking at you as a leader in the back to organize and structure your defending line right there. So you want to create some relationships between your right back, your 1 or 2 sixes, and your left back. And most importantly, as well, you want to create a relationship here with the goalkeeper. Why is the goalkeeper important in this case? The goalkeeper is supposed to be there as well to help you. The goalkeeper is supposed to cover the space behind the back line and the goal. So if you play a high line, the goalkeeper needs to cover more space. If you play with your back or your butt cheeks on top of the 18-yard box, the goalkeeper obviously has a much easier job as well. So that is creating the defensive team shape. Now, once you have that defensive team shape structured and set, that's when you can actually start building pressure on the ball. Now, building pressure on the ball basically means try to predict the play, anticipate the play, maybe set traps, but I think more let's call it creating conditions or creating a game situation to win the ball or to prevent forward play behind your defensive line, right? So depending on where the ball is, right, the other team is also going to move in a certain way. So obviously, look, I did not put the seven in here, right, as a right mid, right? So let's just keep that one out of here, right? But you have your 10 and then you have your 8. So it's basically they have their two wingers, the center forward, their attacking mid, their box to box midfielder. And this is just for um, just and just to show you that obviously whatever's happening over here as a left back, it could also happen on that side as a right back. So look how structured, look how compact we are. So now we're going to start moving as a unit meaning the back four and also our two sixes combined. So we want to make the play predictable. So even if the left back has the ball and we're so organized and so structured, right? Got a question here. Do you think he has a forward pass? Yes or no? Very difficult, right? He might have a forward pass, but then the ball is going to get in here, for the goalkeeper to come out. Perhaps it's a long ball, and then your left back could possibly cover the 7 run right there, right? So there's different options, but not a high percentage connecting play, right? So now we're gonna try and move. It's all ball oriented defending, so now we're gonna try and move um, relative to the ball and the position of the ball. So once the ball is played to the left wing, now we make it compact, keep it compact. Now we're going to go into pressure. So who's the closest defender? It's your right back, right? Pressure, cover, balance. So if the right back pushes out, what should your right center back be doing? Right? He should be able to cover this space just in case your right back gets beat down the line that you're there to cover for him, right? So ball is moving. We move relative to the ball. The ball is moving to the left wing, so we all shift over. Right back is the first defender. The second defender will pressure. What is the third defender doing? Pressure, cover, and balance, right? Number 3 is also going to pinch in. Why? Because you want to be covering the width of the goal, right? So he needs to be pinched in. Now, this is just the back line. Let's look at the two midfielders. If the ball is moving that way, our midfielder should also be moving a little bit relative to the ball, right? So right off the bat, look at this. We're outnumbering the opponent. So we make it compact, we keep it compact. Depending on where the ball went, our player, the closest defender, is going to do pressure. Second defender cover, third defender balance, and the fourth defender is going to build the line, right? This player went from zonal marking into man marking. So he had an identified space, and now he's going to his identified player because this identified player just received the ball. Right? So what is better than playing 1v1? Let's say he gets beat. What's better than playing 1v1? That should be your job, your role, your task there, right? To cover for your teammate just in case he gets beat down the line. So that is your job as a right back, as a right center back as well, right? So let me rewind this whole thing here, right? Because your initial request here was, how do I defend against a bigger, stronger, faster forward, right? As a right center back. First things first, organize defense. We make sure that the compactness is there, that we're close together in the same line and in between the different lines, right? Back line and midfield. So, new game situation here. If you do not organize your back line and your midfield, it kind of looks like this, where you are playing 1v1. There's a clear pass to that center forward, and you're playing 1v1. If that center forward receives the ball and he can turn, you're 1v1. He's bigger, stronger, faster. You just mentioned that. He's going to beat you, and he's going to have a shot on goal. All right. I'm going to ask you the same question that I just did with the right back here if the ball gets played to their left wing. What is better than playing 1v1? 2v1, right? So your job as a leader and organizing your back line, if you are recognizing this right here, you have to organize and structure your defense in such a way that you want to create this funnel. So, question now, do you think he's still going to play that ball to that center forward? If he does, guess what? Basically a 3v1 situation right now. All right. And what changed? Nothing much. Communication, that's what changed. All right. That's the only thing that changed. Communication between players and you as a leader and you organizing the back line. That is the only thing that changed. Right. So, quick tip, organize, lead your defense. Um, Protect yourself. I think that's a good label to give. Protect yourself, right? First, you protect yourself by having that structure in place. You protect yourself by having that structure in place. And then you're going to try and anticipate the play. Anticipating the play means, okay, what are the chances of him passing that ball to that number 9 player? Let's put him a little bit out of position again. All right. What are the chances of him passing that ball to that number 9 player? Very high, right? So now we're going to try, right, anticipate and prevent the number 9 turning, right? Because that's still your rule number 1. Rule number 1 in defending, and I'll send you another note on that one. Rule number 1 in defending, you deny the turn, right? So if that ball is being played to him, and you can tell by the body shape of this left back, you can tell by the body shape of the center mid, whoever has a ball, you can tell by their eye, their verbal communication, the non-verbal communication that they're about to pass the ball. You need to anticipate this. As the ball is traveling, you want to get close to him, right? Rule number 1, deny the turn. That means the speed of the press, the timing of the press, the angle of the press, the distance of the press. You want to get close to him so you can stab at the ball. Your body shape of the press. Where are we supposed to push him? Outside, away from our goal, right? So your angle of the press and your needs to come from the inside to the outside because you want to push him out, right? I know that you might be vulnerable or uncomfortable doing this, but guess what? If you press forward and you're pressing, we just mentioned the pressure cover balance principle. Who should be covering for you? 1, 2, and this is balancing out. And number 8 should be in play too. So you should not feel vulnerable doing this, right? So rule number 1, you deny the turn. Rule number 2 in defending, let's say you're a little late and he touches the ball. Rule number 2, first touch pressure. First touch pressure. You want to touch the ball as soon as he touches the ball, right? If you're late to deny the turn, you want to be quick enough to pressure that forward on his first touch. Because typically he puts his head down to take a first touch. So you want to press that ball, right? Because he doesn't know if you're coming, when you're coming, how fast you're coming, right? Press the ball on the first touch. New game situation. If you're late anticipating the play, if you're late denying the turn, if you're late with the first touch pressure, he will be able to turn and face you. That is the last resort. You should have people pinching in. So either way, you still have people covering for you. But now we go into the technical part of how to defend. When should you be pressing the ball when he faces 1v1 when he's going 1v1 face to face, facing you, right? There's a couple of things. One, you can delay the attack. If you're uncomfortable, maybe you're too high up the field, there's a lot of space behind you, you want to delay the attack, meaning I'm going to try and shadow him, jockey him. So whenever he comes close, I'm going to jockey him and hoping that my teammates will still have time to recover because the line is broken. They have to get behind the ball and recover, right? So that's one option. Option number two, if you're this close to your own goal and you have to stab or challenge the ball, there's only one rule. People dribble the ball. It's only the good elite players that drill with their head up and know exactly where the ball is, right? So the cue, the tip, the trigger here is when the attacker touches the ball for a dribble, that's when you press the ball. Very similar principle. When they dribble the ball, for one instant, one split second, they're going to put their head down to touch the ball to dribble forward. When they put their head down, that is your cue to press. Full intensity, the speed of the press, the timing of the press, the angle of the press, the distance of the press, because you have a split second to cover that gap. So you really want to be close. So the distance would be within arm's length, that you use your body and that you feel the opponent, right? So that would be your last resort. Um, I'm thinking about other stuff that we talked about. There's one more thing that I just remembered, right? Where you said, I have issues when they play the long ball. Okay, so here we go. When they play the long ball. So this is your defending third, right? This is what you talked about, defending third. So when they play the long ball, I just mentioned that the goalkeeper is responsible for that space behind the back line and the goal. So you really have to have a good relationship and communication with the goalkeeper on whose responsibility is, right? So you can play the interception and you can talk to the goalkeeper like, hey, I'm comfortable playing the interception, right? Whereas 1v1, right? I want to try and get the ball. Or you can say, look, goalkeeper, I'm okay, with covering this space because I see the left back lining up for the long ball, but then you also have to have a relationship with your center mid right here so he can actually play the interception on the ground, right? So you really want to have those relationships with different players. I think I mentioned it before, but you have to protect yourself. Protect yourself. If you're not comfortable playing 1v1 in certain situations, you need to have players around you, supporting players that will help you to play 2v1. All right. So that's basically, in essence, what we're looking for. Um, I think that's what you meant with long ball in your back, but then you're relying on your goalkeeper to help you. If there's a long ball for headers, um, it's also very simple to coach as a coach. You want to make sure that you jump first. If you jump first, you're always gonna either win the ball or he's gonna make a foul. Either he's gonna jump and then you're gonna lose your balance. You're gonna be unbalanced, and then you're gonna get a foul for you. Um, if you jump up and he doesn't jump up, you're gonna win the header. Um, if you jump up and he ducks like this, you're gonna fall and get a foul. Um, what else? Yeah, that's about it. So same thing goes for crosses. If you want to defend crosses, you want to make sure that your body shape is there facing up so you can easily clear the ball. But I don't think that was one of your questions. Defending crosses, jump up first, and you're gonna win the ball. Um, and if you don't win the ball, there's always gonna be maybe a push, and you're gonna have a foul for you. But I think that's about it for that. I'll clean this up a little bit so I can show you in a real tactical pad. But that's basically your, I don't know, 25-minute session here on how to defend. I'll give you some notes. Perhaps you can do a session on the field or private coaching session there to really go into the details on how to defend 1v1s and how to dominate those 1v1s. we can put in some crosses on how to um, defend those crosses, dominating 1v1s, when to press, when to delay, when to play the interception, communicate. We have some buzzwords here, but I think that's about it. Um, so I'll clean this up. I'll post it. I'll send you the link, and that's it for me. So thank you.